Welcome to Thursdays at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. My name is Jessie Ott, the host of this podcast, which is all about beverage innovation. I talk with innovation pioneers from agriculture to glass. This week, I'm speaking with Lorenzo Jaume, owner and winemaker of Podere San Cristoforo Winery located in Tuscany, and Jaume Met is a farmer located in the Priorat in the Catalonia area of Spain. Lorenzo uses biodynamic farming for his winery of 17 hectares or 42 acres, mostly planted with Petit Verdot. And yes, he's a cousin of the famous Zonin family. A wine tasting brought these two together, where they started talking about their interest in aging wine differently. In water. With loads of research and testing, they have discovered the best results are when they place their handmade 750 milliliter terracotta Amphoras 30 meters or nearly 100 feet in an open water marine park located in the Mediterranean Sea, where actual Roman amphoras have been found. Given Lorenzo's knowledge and love for Petit Verdot, this is the only varietal they will use commercially for now. The wine embodies some Mediterranean Sea influence as the vineyards are by the sea. They age the wine in French oak barrels for 10 months before each is hand-filled and hand-sealed, which makes this product even more rare. They place 600 amphoras per year for 9 months at 10 degrees Celsius or 50 degrees Fahrenheit. Their first vintage was in 2019 and they just put 2021 under the water this June. They would make more if they could, but the manufacturer just can't make more amphoras. Each bottle sells for 240 euros and comes in a wooden box with a ceramic stand to display it in your home or office. It also comes with a pretty cool certificate of authenticity. If you know anyone that wants to learn more about this for their own winery, or if anyone from a university is interested in getting data and really dig into what they're doing, they are happy to work with you and share all their information. Lorenzo and Jaume are very innovative, curious, and they love to learn. I feel lucky to have spent time with them, and I look forward to their progress and any new innovative adventures that await them. Thank you for listening, and be sure to subscribe to be notified of all new episodes. Welcome, everybody. My name is Jessie Ott, and I have Lorenzo and Jaume here, all the way from Italy, representing Podere San Cristoforo Winery in Tuscany, in the Maremma, correct?
Correct.
All right.
Correct.
Well,
Hello,
welcome,
Jessie.
welcome.
Thank
How are you guys doing today?
Fine, thanks. Thank you for hosting us.
Yeah, it's a hump day today, so you're about, I guess, about the end of your day. I don't know if there, or unless you have wine dinners tonight.
It's never the end of the day.
That's right. When you own a vineyard, it's never the end. I hear you.
Exactly.
It's
Exactly.
but I gotta tell you, that must be just one of the most amazing feelings to be able to wake up every day, get your hands in the dirt, walk the fields, work with, your winemakers and get, highly awarded like you have on your portfolios. That must be just an amazing feeling.
It is. It's hard work, but very rewarding in terms of feelings, sensations when you are outside and you see nature that is so generous. Is really fulfilling, and you think that you don't need anything more than just what you have.
Right.
Right.
Yeah, I see that you are into the biodynamics of agriculture and winemaking. So, well, I'm looking forward to kind of talking through that with you and getting some of, the insight into what you think is kind of the important aspects of that in your wines and your winemaking techniques. So I think that's really cool. I think it's probably it's coming. I think it's more and more popular, but I think if I had to guess, I would say Italy is probably one of the top countries doing it, but you would know more than I do. I don't know.
You mean biodynamic?
Yeah.
Italy is one of the country where organic agriculture is more developed. I think it's because we have a very nice climate and growing things organically is not so difficult. And Italians are so much attached to quality products in terms of vegetables and fruit that in a way the market also, the Italian market, is asking more and more for better food in terms of taste and healthier food. So when we are speaking about biodynamic, the most important thing is that the quality of the soil is fundamental. So the fact that our soil is alive, has not been polluted by chemicals, and all biodynamic practices are aiming to revitalize the soil, so increase the vitality of the soil. And increasing the vitality of the soil is a way to have healthier plants, and having healthier plants means as well having better fruit. This is in a way the logic behind biodynamic.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. It's definitely there's some wineries here that are into it and are doing it very well and making organic wines and whatnot as well. So, but yeah, I agree. That's really cool. Is it harder than the other? I mean, is it a harder way to farm?
Yeah, it's of course harder because you don't have the chemicals that are helping you reducing, for example, the risks of botrytis, the risk of diseases. They are extremely powerful substances that gets into the sap, gets into the vine and protect the vines from inside, are a kind of antibiotics against diseases. And the fertilizer, for example, increases the crops. So in terms of hours that you spend per acre or per hectare, you need many more hours in an acre than if you are conventional. The crop is very reduced. It must be little, because the more grape, for example, you have, the easier are the, the, the easier is the risk to get infection from the grape, because the grapes are so attached one to the other, and there are so many leaves that there's no air circulations, and you can have botrytis, rotten grapes. So if you are organic or biodynamic, you need to reduce the crop so that there is more space between the grapes, more air going through the berries and the clusters. And this way you reduce enormously the risk of rotten grapes and other diseases like, for example, oidium and peronospora, that I think is, I don't know the English name for these two big diseases that are affecting the grapes.
Okay. I didn't you know what I didn't realize or I didn't remember, and this isn't a surprise, is that you have to have more air in between them. That's interesting. So does that mean you plant fewer vines in
No,
between or
you have fewer clusters. You
clusters?
need
Okay.
to, yeah, you produce less grapes per acre.
Less grapes per acre.
The yield is must be lower, because if you have a bigger crop, the risks of having bad grapes is very high. So you need to also to observe is if the illness is spreading out your vineyard, and that's why you need to spend more time in the vineyard to observe that the grapes are ripening in the right way. So you need to care about your vineyards more than in conventional. You know that
Yeah.
chemicals actually helps you to reduce the time you spend in the vineyard. So it reduces the costs in terms of hours of work per acre, and also it decreases the costs because you can have a higher crop. So at the end, a kilogram of grape costs much less if you are conventional than biodynamic.
Gotcha.
It's about 40%. We calculate it, and is about 40% more expensive, the grape coming out from a organic vineyard.
Wow. Okay. That's a lot.
Yeah, that's a lot. But at the end, we need to go back and understand that when you do agriculture, you have to, in a way, not think too much about profit.
Yep.
The culture of profit has destroyed the good agriculture, because to get more money out of your land, you are going on top of many things, and basically we are not eating the same good food as in the past, just because we are running so much into saving money to have a food that costs less. There's a limit out of it.
Yeah, I agree.
Mm.
So, Lorenzo, you're calling from the winery today?
Yes, I am.
And so, do you want to tell us a little bit about where that is, so the listeners have a kind of an idea in their head?
Yes. So
We're in
Podere San
Italy.
Cristoforo, yes, Podere San Cristoforo is a little winery, 17 hectares of vine on the coast of Tuscany. This area is called the Maremma, and Maremma is an area which is quite flat, or anyway rolling hills, really attached to the coast, so it gets very much the influence of the sea. We have constant breezes from the sea, which are good to keep our crops healthy. It's a very dry area, and very sunny. We have there's an index that tells you how many days of sun you have out of the year. And Maremma, together with other few areas in Italy, is has a very high index of sun. So
That's
a lot of
great.
yes, and it's a very luminous area, because in front of our vineyard we have this sea, which is quite close and act mostly like a lake, that reflects the light back on the air. And so we have colors that are very bright and a lot of luminosity that are helping any plants to grow faster and in the case of grape, ripening better the grapes. So we generally do not have green notes on our wines. Our wines are always quite ripe and rich, full of flavors because of this luminosity.
Gotcha. Jaume, where are you calling from today?
From Catalonia, from a little part of Catalonia called Tarragona.
So do you
Tarragona.
live there? Do you
Yes.
live there or okay?
I live in Tarragona, a little village of Tarragona called Alforja. Is the name of the little village.
Nice. And so, Jaume, how do you know Lorenzo?
In a tasting.
In a tasting?
We met in a
Yes.
tasting. Yeah.
We met in a tasting.
That's cool. Where at?
It's why the 5 or 6 years ago, and we think about the wine, about that product of Amphora Maris. So we start this relationship, and here we are making this.
So you're part of the team that kind of works on the wines aging in the sea that we're gonna get into. I can't wait. I'm so excited about this process. So we'll keep forging on here. So where are you guys both from? Jaume, you were born in the same area where you live now?
Yes, in the same place.
What about you, Lorenzo? Where are you originally from in Italy?
I'm originally from the north, and in 2000 I moved here in Tuscany. I'm from Veneto. I come from a village where the people cannot choose what to do, actually, because everybody in our village are making wines. It's a village made out of volcans with rocky soil and very steep I don't know
Hills, mountains.
Yes, yes, and so nothing is growing except grapes and some olive trees. So I have been involved with wine since ever. All my friends had a winery or had vineyards when I was little, and it's a cool place, but quite boring. You know, when you grow up and there's not much choices. But on the other side, when I started to discover how beautiful was wine, when I started to work abroad, I found that my weakness, the fact that I couldn't choose many things in life, actually became a strength, because I realized that I knew so much about wine because of my culture, because of my traditions.
Yeah, and you, I guess, being just living in Italy, you're around wine and olive oil and and the best food ever. I'll give you that. But also, your last name is Zonin, so you are related to the Zonin family of wines. So, I mean, you have it kind of not only just being a citizen and growing up in Italy, and then being in that region, you also have family that's been in the wine making business.
Yes, absolutely. As I said before, in this village you can only do wine or grow grapes. So my family did that. We are winemakers since 7 generations, and that's why sometimes I felt that my culture and my tradition was a little bit too strong on the possibility that I had in my life. But finally, I see the good part of it, and I'm very grateful to my family, and and to my parents that gave me the possibility uh, to be in this business, which
When
I
did
didn't want to choose at the very beginning, but at the end, I just realized that it could give me the possibility to express myself in the best way.
Yep, definitely. Yeah, through your different wines and techniques and different varietals that you can grow and whatnot. Yeah, and then there's the whole branding and labels, which is really fun too and expressive. So, when did you start becoming a winemaker?
I started becoming a winemaker when I was a serious winemaker when I was 26. Um, After a master in viticulture and enology in France, that took me in different part of the world to learn more about wine. I spent few days also in UC Davis,
Okay. Mm-hmm.
um, and other very good university in Europe, South America, and Barboursville Vineyards probably was where I started to make wine professionally, because I was assistant winemaker, and it was the first time really that I was managing a pump or really a big tank. Because when I was at home as a kid, my father was making wine at home, so the equipments were very very uh, how
Low production.
yes, low
Yeah.
production, and for amateurs, there were not
Right.
professional equipments. The press was a hand press,
Gotcha.
you know. Mhm.
And where is that winery that you worked at?
You mean Barboursville Vineyards?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Barboursville Vineyards is a winery in Virginia,
Okay. And where is that
uh,
close to? Do you know what the major city?
Charlottesville. Yes,
Charlotte's. Okay.
Charlottesville, where the UVA is, the University of Virginia.
Okay. Gotcha.
Yes, it's 20 minutes from Charlottesville.
And how long were you there?
I spent 2 years.
Okay, so that's pretty decent time. Couple of
Vintages. Yes.
vintages. Yeah, that's
Mhm.
cool.
Yes. No, was for me was a revelation. I really like American culture and the enthusiasm that you put in so many fields and sector. I really enjoy my time in Virginia.
Yeah, it's a beautiful part of the country. It really is.
Very natural.
Yeah, and there's quite a few wineries there now. I don't know how many, but
I think more than 200s now.
oh wow. Yeah,
Yeah.
we went out and stayed my family and I and my friends and their little boys at the time, and we toured a couple wineries, and they were delicious. They were awesome.
Yeah,
Really, really good wines being made out there. So then what
absolutely.
happened?
Mm.
Where did you go after that?
After that, I came back. I started to work for my family. Meanwhile, I had also an experience in New Zealand,
Nice.
working for Michael Sarasin, a biodynamic winery in Marlborough. And at the same time, my father bought this land because his dream was to have a, a relative big property compared to
Mm-hmm.
the property we used to have in Veneto. In Veneto, we had 2 hectares, so
Okay.
it's about um, uh, 6 or 4 acres, 4 acres, I think. more than
Okay.
4 acres, and those vineyards were all in with very important degree of steepness, and so his dream was to have a quite flat area where he could cultivate the vines without many problems. And so he bought this land, and just with the intention of selling grapes. And when I found this land, I started to. I asked my father if I could begin my own project out of his grapes, and I started with a couple of barriques, and helped by a friend who is a winemaker in Bordeaux, France. And we started to make our own wine, and the wine at that moment was really horrible, was not good at all. But the fact is that you always have to start somewhere and somehow.
Yep.
And the enthusiasm was so big that we started to first believe in the project, and then we started to buy relatively good equipment. So at the very beginning, we didn't have a winery, so we were doing wine under a courtyard, and little by little we started to have a proper winery, and out of it we started to make better and better wines. And if the first vintage was 2005, in 2015 we got our first Trabicchieri, which is the main award here in Italy, where just 300 wineries reach the Trabicchieri. And so this gave us also some how do you call it,
Confidence.
visibility. Visibility. I don't know,
Visibility. Yep.
the people, the people started to ask for our wines, and we started to grow, not too much in terms of number of bottles, because the number of bottles always were relatively low, because we started with 7,000 bottles, and we are now selling 60 to 70,000 bottles.
Wow.
Which is very
That's good
small.
volume. Yeah.
Yeah, it looks like a big volumes, but it's a micro winery. It's really small compared to important brands. This is, I think, is all between 40 and 70 is really the minimum amount of wine you can make to have a professional winery.
Okay.
To make a living out of it.
Yeah. So you met that threshold. So do you still have the land then in Veneto? And
The
still
land,
making
the
wines from
the
there?
2 hectares of vineyard that we have, that my father have in Veneto, we still have it. There's a lot of difficulties to run that vineyard, because those vineyards are so steep, and people are difficult to um, to find. The old people that used to run this kind of vineyards, little by little are becoming old, and they cannot work that land anymore. So with some difficulties, my father is still making grapes and selling grapes there.
Gotcha.
Mhm.
And so when did the winery Podere San Cristoforo come um, into your life? When did that happen?
In 2000.
In
In
2000.
2000.
Okay.
Yes, 2000. So it's already 23 years that we are running this project. The first vintage was 2005 because the vineyards had to grow, because we planted almost everything. We just found a couple of hectares of a Vermentino from this very old vineyard, and we decided to restore it and to make out of it uh, an important white wine.
I
So
love
uh,
Vermentino.
Vermentino is a really interesting grape variety, especially because when you drink it, it reminds you a lot about being by the sea. The flavors and the taste, the salinity that you can find on in the wine reminds you about the coast, and it's this is really unique. Very few other white wines gives you that sensations.
Yeah, it
Mm.
is amazing. We do get quite a bit over here. Is would you say that Vermentino is a pretty big grape in terms of white wines in Italy?
It's becoming, yes, it's fashionable now. More and more people are asking for Vermentino. I would say that Pinot Grigio, especially in the US, is the major variety.
Mm.
And after Vermentino, after Pinot Grigio, probably we have a Vermentino on the still wines, white wines, of course, because for the sparkling, Prosecco is the number one.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yes, Glera grapes. Mm.
So Jaume, what brought you into the wine world?
Because I live in a place near Priorat. I don't know if you know that that area,
Hmm.
Priorat. So
I
I live
do.
really. So I live really next to Priorat, and I have friends that are winemakers.
Okay.
And when I was 20, 25 years old, I start to interesting in all about the wine. Before 20 years, I never drank wine before. So I start to interesting about wine in when I was 20 or 25 years old. So little by
Hmm.
little, I start knowing more and more about wine, and that was the my my story in this amazing world. I just a wine lover uh,
Hmm.
that I find that I met fantastic people along the that process, and I'm just a amateur person in this big world.
Yeah, it's fun. It's you get the bug at some point, and there's no turning back, right? you
Yeah,
know,
yeah,
it
sure.
you have access to some of the best wines in the world, so it's a good bug to have, right?
Yes, yes, yes.
Yeah. I remember I lived in France for a year, and back then it was before the euro. And so we could get a good bottle of wine for like 6 francs. Like it was such a great experience to be able to taste really high quality wines at such an affordable price. And, to be able to be around such great wines all the time, every day, um, you know, is an amazing experience. I mean, I'm sure it's not as cheap as it is now, as it was back then. But still, you get access to quite a few really good wines, and we do here in the U.S. They're just, obviously we pay a lot more for non-American wines.
Yeah, but for example, I saw that in California, wineries are selling wines quite expensive.
Mm-hmm. Everybody's taking
So
up price because of COVID.
yeah, yeah. But I think if you want a good bottle of wine, you have to spend some money.
Yep.
Um, Otherwise, you risk to drink something that is not so nice.
Yeah, I know that my price point has gone up about $5. I used to spend right around 13 to 15, maybe $16, and that's now a minimum of 15 to 16 to 20, 21.
Yes. Mm.
So I don't know
Yes.
if I'm older and or if or if the wines just really got that much more expensive. It could be a combination of both.
Exactly. Exactly. Now, for sure, wines are today more expensive than before. Um, the the quality has raised so much, and of course, we are not able to go back from that level of quality, and to reach that quality, costs have increased. Yes,
Yeah.
of course. Not speaking about the economic crisis that we are going through, which makes everything more expensive. But I think, generally speaking, the cost for making a bottle of wine is higher today because we are following some process that are process that costs money.
Yeah, unfortunately, it's probably
Yeah.
going to just keep going up, you
Yes.
know?
Yes, because when we get accustomed of a certain process that is expensive,
Mhm.
we cannot go back because that process, specific process, is making a better wine, and of course costs a little bit more, and you have to do it. I'm speaking, for example, about inert gases that you use when you move the wine from a tank to another. You need to protect the wine from the moving, from this moving. So you need to put some gas in the other tank so that the wine is not getting oxidized. And of course, this is expensive.
Yeah. So, Jaume, let's start with you and how did you start with Lorenzo?
Uh, it's what I told you before. I met Lorenzo when while a wine tasting, because I start to that kind of project with a friend, in putting wine into the amphoras under the sea. Uh, and it was when Lorenzo, many years ago, he wanted to start to do the same, but in Italy there were many problems to do that kind of wine aging. So when Lorenzo uh, know more about us, about that project, uh, he contacted us, and he wanted to be part of that project, and that's where that was the beginning of this project.
When did those conversations start then?
Uh, it wasn't. I think. Do you remember, Lorenzo? When was it? 2018 or 2017? I think.
Okay.
Yes,
It
yes, more or less was that timing. Jaume has a very nice friend in Priorat that experimented the aging of wine underwater, but not under the sea,
Okay.
but inside an interesting bath, I would say. You know, in ancient times, we were making wine inside a kind of pool made out of rocks. And you can
Oh.
still find in the south of Italy, in the middle of a field or on the mountains, you can find these pools that have been done by Romans and by the people that were living there more than 2,000 years ago. And the fermentation was done in these pools. And in this little village in the Priorat, they had these pools, and Jaume's friend, of course, couldn't do the wine in the same way because that was a very old method. Today we have a more qualitative method, and so he had this kind of pool, this kind of bathtub, where he put water, and he put the and actually is a free run water coming from the depths, and is like, how do you call it, like a source of water from
Yeah,
the,
like a spring.
like a spring, exactly.
Aspirin.
So yeah, a spring. So he used to put his bottles inside this bathtub, and he had this spring water going through and refreshing the bottles, and at the same time avoiding oxidation, because underwater there's no oxygen. And he told Jaume that, and Jaume was trying the wines, and the wines were really good, uh, aged, compared to the wines that were aging on open air. These wines were fresher with less evolution. And this was many years ago when he found out this. At the same time, while I was here in San Cristoforo, I didn't have any place to put my bottles in a fresh way, in a fresh place, because here is very hot, and we didn't have the facilities to put our bottles. So
Gotcha.
it comes to my mind the possibility of putting some of my bottles under the sea, because under the sea you have constant temperatures, and also a very precise temperature, which was good for aging wine.
Yeah.
So I started to ask if it was possible to age my wines in the sea, but they told me that it was not possible, that I could not use the sea for my personal purposes. And so I dropped down the project. I had already the labels of the wine aged under the sea. So when I met Jaume at this tasting, he told me about this idea of putting the wine under the sea, and I said that I was very much interested in trying this process. And from that moment, we started to be more and more uh, in alert, of everything that was going through in the world of wine in terms of aging wine under the sea. And so we started to find articles about that champagne that has been found in the Northern Sea in Norway.
Yeah.
That everybody knows about this story. This is an amazing story that they tried the wines and the wines were really good. Then some other wineries were started to put the wine under the sea, and all this became for us more and more intriguing until we started to experiment with different kind of amphoras, because the first amphoras were not appropriate, didn't work because the water, the sea water was getting into the bottle and into the amphoras. So and also came to our attention the fact that here in Italy some shipwrecks from the Romans were still holding some amphoras um, inside the shipwreck. And we started also to contact some archaeologists, you say, archaeologists, some experts here in Italy, and we started to understand how Romans were using the amphoras, fermentation process that they were doing into the amphora, the way that they were transporting wine at those ages, what kind of wine they were actually transporting, because the wine that they were transporting was very much different from the wine that we know today.
Right.
So
Can
it
you?
was yeah, it was
Do
more
you
like
mind?
sorry
Oh, go ahead.
sorry, it was like more like a mosaic with a lot of tiles that were getting all together until we found out what was Amphora maris. Were a lot of tests, a lot of things that were going through, and we were getting more and more knowledgeable about the materials that we could use for our amphora, more about how the wine had to be done to be able to age well into an amphora, more about the history. So a lot of information just get into this pot of Amphora and Maris.
Can you explain to the audience what amphora is and what it's made out of, and like a little bit of the history of it?
Yeah, you mean the amphora itself, like the
Yeah,
container, the
the
bottle,
container, the vessel. Yeah.
the vessel? Yes, it's a terracotta, but it's a special terracotta that has very small porosity, and the amphora is cooked at very high temperature so that it crystallizes, and you don't have oxygen, air, or water or liquids going through the material. And it's an artisanal amphora, so it's made by hand, one by one.
Wow.
And
And how
750
big are they?
ml. 750 ml, so it's the exact size of a bottle, but it looks very smaller. If you give me 1 second, I can take one so you can see it
Oh yeah,
compared to
sure.
a bottle. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
and Jaume can maybe answer some other questions about our project.
I know that this project is Petit Verdot, but have you used other varietals?
No, just Petit Verdot. We start putting another variety called Carignana. You know Carignan. We start the project with this variety, but when we start the project with Lorenzo, we decide to put Petit Verdot into the amphora. So at the moment, we use just this variety.
Yeah, this is what we sell at the moment. Of course, we did many tests. We did with the Sangiovese, we did also with the Rosé, and from our test, I have to say that the this amphora that I show you now is
Okay.
very suitable. Is very suitable for holding any kind of wine, and this is the amphora.
Oh, wow. That is
Yeah,
really cool.
and it's quite small if you can see it.
Yeah, it fits in your hand.
Yes, and you see how big is a 750?
Yep. That's really cool. So, how is it sealed at the top?
It's sealed with wax,
Okay, what wax? Hmm.
and a cork, natural cork.
Okay, and that holds under pressure in the sea. That's cool.
Yeah, we also increase the protection by adding some rubber.
Okay,
Two layer of rubber and a seal, a special seal around to keep the rubber tied into the neck.
gotcha. Okay.
Mm.
So, why the Petit Verdot?
Uh, Simply because Petit Verdot is for us our best wine that we produce.
Okay.
We put so much effort on the production of this wine, and Petit Verdot is such an ancient grape. Um, this is really interesting, and but I don't want to annoy you and the people who are listening us. But any grape that we find in the market is the result of a domestication, exactly like the same thing that go through uh, the dog. For example, when you choose a dog, you have many kind of dogs, and humans have been selecting dogs for centuries, right?
It's true. Well, I have a golden
Yeah,
retriever.
exactly. You have a golden retriever. Jaume has a French bulldog, right?
Bulldog.
Yes. I have a Springer Spaniel. So you have many different kind of dogs, and you have the same for grapes. So humans have been selecting Sangiovese because it's growing really well in Tuscany, because it's fresh, drinkable, it ages really well, it has a resistance against oxidation. So any grape variety has been chosen for some characteristics. And for example, you can find more than 70 kinds of Sangiovese. So Sangiovese has been selected so many times,
Yeah.
so it's quite young, I would say. It's not a really ancient variety. While Petit Verdot, if you want to plant Petit Verdot and you go to buy it, you just find one Petit Verdot. So for me, Petit Verdot is a kind of wolf
Very
in the
cool.
evolution. We know that dogs are coming from wolves, right? It's just an evolution, a selection, and but the original uh, dog used to be a wolf, probably. And we in this case, Petit Verdot is still a very ancient grape variety, and it's really intriguing how concentrate is the must and the wine that comes out of it. It has very small berries. So simply, we thought that it was nice to have such a rare grape variety done in purity, because it's 100% Petit Verdot, in such a unique vessel, which is the amphora. So just to add more and more value to the product that we were delivering to our wine lovers, and we had to choose one, and we said let's choose Petit Verdot for these reasons,
Okay,
just to make
interesting.
more special. Yeah, just to make more special the Amphora Maris.
Yeah, and you know that grape very well, so I'm sure it's easy to with your knowledge of it, it's a little bit easier to learn faster, right? Because
Yeah,
you understand the
absolutely.
structure, the tannins, that um, aspect of the grape.
Yes, and saying that we could have gone with other varieties.
Mm-hmm.
This is for sure. This is possible, but we had to make a choice,
Choice.
and yeah, we had to make a choice. But this container, this amphora, it's really a very good container, which potentials are still unknown. uh, I think we will need more years to understand what are the possibility that this kind of bottle, this kind of amphora is giving us, because we also discovered that once opened, the wine in the amphora lasts more than the wine that is opened in the glass bottle. So in
Okay.
the glass bottle, when we serve the wine, the difference from the glass and the amphora in our case is that when we serve both the wines, the wine that is coming from the amphora is a little bit closed, so the aromatics are not so bright at the very beginning, while
Right.
the wine coming out from the bottle is already very opened and very fruity, spicy. It's fantastic when it comes out from the bottle, but immediately we can see that after few minutes the wine in coming from the amphora is gaining some terrain, is getting better, while the wine coming from the glass bottle is losing something. So you can see two kind of wines: one that is delivering everything immediately but then is going down quite quickly, and on the other side, the wine in the amphora is very shy at the beginning, but with time is delivering a lot. And after 10 days that the amphora is open, you can still enjoy the wine at its top. So it's not oxidized at all. And this is something that we need to understand more. We want to involve some university
Yeah.
to study this, because it's quite unique, has never happened to us. Is like it's a better container than the glass in terms of conservation. I don't want to say that this is a better container than glass, because I think that glass is a fantastic um, matter. It's fantastic material for
Mm-hmm.
uh, for holding wine. Probably the best
Mm-hmm.
material we know at the moment. But the terracotta, in this case, our Amphora Maris, has something special in terms of aging the wine and in terms of keeping the wine safe against oxidation.
Do you think that it's because it's at a cool, constant temperature, whereas the bottles tend to have probably changes in humidity, changes in temperature, changes in whatever that maybe affect it differently, whereas you have this constant cool water.
Yeah, it can be very much possible, because the way the wine ages under the sea is completely different from the wine that is aging on the earth. And the fact that the temperatures, pressures, electromagnetic fields, and all the things that are happening at that depth under the Mediterranean Sea, it makes that the wine that is a beverage that is in a continuous evolution creates some chemical reactions that are completely different from the chemical reaction that you would have inside a glass bottle on the top of the surface, on the surface, on a cellar.
Yeah.
So the
Weather
chemical reaction are
patterns,
different. Yeah.
pressure, atmospheric pressures, all that has probably a lot to do with
Yes,
it. That would be
complete
really
dark.
interesting for a university to pick that up and really run with that, because that would be super, super interesting to know
Yeah,
all those
yeah,
things.
yeah. You know that now it's fashionable to send wine on the space to see how wine can age on the space, and this is the same. I think that under the sea you have a completely different world, and the wine ages in a different way, like it would age on the space, in the space.
Do you have a place? You said so you go to the Mediterranean Sea to put these bottles. You go to the Mediterranean, okay. And at what
Yes.
depth do you um have you experimented with different um levels? Below sea,
Yeah.
below the surface.
The first attempt with Jaume was at 15 meters
Okay.
for 9 months, and we were happy with it. We thought that was the right combination of depth and aging period.
Okay.
Then we started to increase the depth to 30 meters for 9 months, but we left the wine a little bit more. Jaume said to, let's say, had the idea to increase the timing to 1 year. And actually, the wine got so much better after 1 year at 30 meters that we are super happy of this new combination of 1 year at 30 meters. The
Okay.
wine
So you
is so
found
much better. Yeah.
your sweet spot. So do you go to the same place every time?
Yes. This we choose this place that we want to keep anonymous at the moment
Yeah, I was gonna
for
say people are gonna
security.
come steal them.
Exactly. Yeah, because it's quite impossible to protect these amphoras against stealing, because is in open water,
Yeah.
and so anyone can go there and steal our amphoras.
Yep.
So we decided to uh, uh, protect them, at least by not saying where we are putting the amphoras. But we can give some information about the place. First of all, is on open sea water, so it's not in a bay, it's not close to a river, or it's really on open waters where you can have waves 2-3 meters high.
Okay.
um, and it's a place where real Greek and Roman amphoras have been found. So
Oh,
it's
that's super cool.
yeah, it's a place that in a way is people cannot go there so easily, because it's like a marine park, archaeological park.
Okay.
So it's also nice the fact that we can combine the two things. I mean, to put our amphoras in a place where real Greek and Roman amphoras have been found.
So, how often and how many bottles do you put in the sea?
We put 600 amphoras every year, because
Each year.
these are artisanal amphoras that the artisan that is making the amphoras cannot provide us with more than 600 amphoras per year.
Gotcha. And you can't reuse them?
You could reuse them, but we sell them, so
You sell
it
them?
should be, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, our we can, if a client come here with an empty amphora, we could fill it again and put it back in the ocean. We could do that if we are
S-
asked to.
So you pretty much prepare 600 bottles and you put the new batch in and you take the batch that's been in the bottom of the sea with back with you.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah,
And so,
we. Hmm.
oh, go ahead.
Uh, there's an important thing about preparing the amphora. Many people do not understand how complex is to put our wine inside an amphora instead of putting the wine in a bottle. This creates a lot of problems because, for example, every amphora that we have a slightly different content and has a different weight as well, and is not transparent. So it makes a lot of problems in filling up the amphora. So every amphora is filled up by hand,
I figured it probably was.
and yes, and extremely slowly, because we need to check with our eyes where the level is for every amphora, and then we have to cork every single amphora by hand. We need to wax it. We need to protect it with these 2 layers of rubber.
Mm-hmm.
So this process is huge. We probably, the amphora gets in our hand probably 10 times at least.
At least, yeah. I can
Yeah.
imagine. So what does one amphora sell for?
At the moment, we fix the price at 240 euros.
Okay. And you sell out every year?
Yes,
S-
yes. Until
Do
now,
you
600.
That's impressive. That's really cool. And when was your first vintage ready?
2019.
Okay.
Yeah, 2019 was first commercial amphora. Now we are out with the 2020, the 2020, and we just put 2021 650 amphoras under the water um, when Jaume, 2 weeks ago, two,
Yes,
two,
2 weeks
two,
ago.
two
It
weeks
was
ago.
yes,
Yeah.
on 16th maybe, or 7.
Mm.
No, it was on 12th of June.
Of June, 12th
maybe.
of June. Yeah, and
Yeah.
we take the opportunity to sink these amphoras. At the same time, we pick up the others.
Okay.
Because the operation is quite expensive, because we have to move a big boat.
Yeah.
Yes, that has
And it's heavy.
how do you how do you call it? A crane?
Okay. Yeah, yeah. Mhm.
Yeah, you
Like
need a
you
crane. Yes, you need a crane on the boat that take the cage and put the cage into the water, and we put a balloon. We inflate a balloon on top of the cage that act as a parachute when we put down the cage under the water.
Okay, so you put the bottles in the cage and you gently lower it down.
Down on the bottom of the sea. Yeah, through this balloon that is slowing down the cage while it's going down under the water. It's super cool. The entire process is super cool. And of course, we need to, me and Jaume just dive as amateurs, and we watch the operations. But we need two divers, professional divers, that actually can go down at that depth, at 30 meters. And at 30 meters, the water is extremely cold. It's 10 degrees. And they are staying quite a little bit at that depth. And sometimes they have to go up, and they have to change the bottle of oxygen, because they use so much oxygen
Oh,
to do the
wow.
entire operation. Yes, they spend a lot of time. This operation looks easy, but at the end they have to secure the cage under the water. They have to direct the cage to the right spot, because the under the water there are some corals that they cannot break, so they have to gently put the cages in the right spot.
Do you leave them in the cages or do you take them out individually and then you put the new ones in?
We leave it on in the cage. Sometimes we
Okay.
take some out of the cage, and we just lay them down on the sand, because it's just very beautiful to see these amphoras just on the sand,
Yeah,
compared
I've
to
seen
having
pictures. It's
them.
pretty cool.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yes. And so we do, but the majority of the amphoras are inside the cage.
Okay. That makes sense. It's easier. They don't move around and
Yeah,
you don't
yeah.
have to count, "Oh, well, we got 625. Where's the other 25?" They
Exactly.
only floated away.
Yes, exactly,
Those sea
exactly.
turtles. You can't trust those sea turtles anymore, can you?
Yeah,
I
we
love sea
put
turtles.
actually something on the top of the cage,
Okay, to kinda
because
cover it.
yes, we need to cover, we cover them. And uh, also we found fish inside the cage. They use the our amphoras as their house. We is the
Oh,
second time we found a family of murenas
really?
inside the cage. Yes.
That would scare me.
Yes, yes,
Oh,
and scared us as well. Yeah,
how
because
do you
if they
go
bite
about
you. Mm, mm,
Yeah, you're in trouble. I mean, and you got a wetsuit
yes,
on, so if they bite through that, oh, so
yeah, yeah.
what was
And
the process of moving them?
you mean the murenas?
Mhm.
Yeah, the murenas, when once the cage is out in the boat, on the boat, the murenas start to come out like snakes coming out
Okay.
from the cage. So everybody is quite scared, because we are
You didn't know it?
barefoot. We don't know that, and we are barefoot, so we are a little bit scared of getting a bite from them. They and But we accompany them with with a pole. We accompany them to the side of the boat, and on the side of the boat there are some apertures, and they just go out by themselves.
Wait, so you were in the boat then
Yeah.
before you
Yes.
discovered them. Oh,
Yes.
good
Yes.
grief.
Yes.
Oh,
And
I
and
I've
and
seen
sometimes we
one
are
time.
enjoying. Yeah.
Oh, I mean, this was a huge one. It was like this, I don't know, 6, 8 inches
Ah,
around.
okay. No, no, those are smaller.
Okay,
Those are
yeah.
smaller. The one that we found. And the last time we were enjoying actually the content of an amphora, when they came out. So
Oh, I hope you didn't spill
they
any.
they yes, they ruined a little bit the party, but it was okay.
I guess you're gonna have to make the cages with smaller holes.
Yes, exactly. Yeah,
Oh
but
man.
this part of the experience, I think,
Yeah.
is nice. It's really
Yeah, the
nice.
heebie-jeebies are great.
Yes, exactly,
So,
exactly.
going back to the process of okay, so you pick the Petit Verdot or buy Petit Verdot, and then do you barrel age it? I think I read that you do. I don't know if that's something that
Yes,
you're
yes,
still doing.
yes, because the method that Jaume and I created is that we need to put the wine that is finished, that in terms of taste uh, has gone through all the process, because the wood for the wood aging for a red wine, for me, is almost necessary uh, to to increase the quality of the red wine. The red wine really needs barrel aging, because they get more complex, because they get rounder, they clean up themselves, because the sediments goes better down in a wood. And since we are biodynamic, we do not filter our wines. So we need the standard, I would say, the standard process to obtain a wine that is stable and ready to age, whether it is in a glass bottle or whether it is in an amphora.
Okay. So you prepare
So
your Petit Verdot the same as you would for just regular glass bottles.
exactly,
Then
yes,
okay. Okay. And
yeah.
how long do you age it for in the wood?
In the wood is 10 months minimum, 10 to 11 months. It depends on the years, but the number of months, if it is 10, 11, 12, it's not really important. The most important thing is that you have a minimum aging of 8, 9 months in
Okay.
barrels, just because the wine needs to breathe, needs to decant, uh, and this is a must. And then we go in the bottle, or we go in the amphora.
And what type of barrels do you use?
We use French oak barrels, and used generally is never new. We don't like when the wood taste is strong. We prefer to enhance the terroir, the characteristic of the grape variety. So we use the wood just for micro oxygenation and for decanting,
Gotcha.
more than adding flavors to the wine.
Okay. Interesting.
Mm.
So, do you all have any mentors that you've had in this project or any resources that you'd want to share just in terms of wine knowledge or this process?
Actually, this is a unique method, so there's not a lot of knowledge
Right.
about it. Our mentor, my mentor was, for example, an old winemaker that eh, told us how to make wine in a natural way, so without using tannins or clearing agents, without filtering. And I'm sure that for Jaume, his mentor was probably Diego, right? Jaume?
Yes, yes,
Yeah,
it was Diego.
yeah, in terms of winemaking and in terms of this aging wine under the water.
No, just well, yes, in both. In winemaking, I'm not I'm not a winemaker, So yeah,
Yeah.
I just
Okay.
can tell you that my special mentor about this wine aging was Diego. Yes, both Diego meets as well Lorenzo
Okay. And he's a winemaker for your
in
eye?
Pirat.
Yep.
Yes, he is.
Okay.
He has a little winery, little really little winery, just maybe 3,000 bottles per year.
Okay. And what is it called? And what varietals does he focus on?
Cariñena and Garnacha.
Okay. Makes sense
Yeah.
for that area.
Yes, that's the varieties, the natural varieties of Priorat, just Cariñena and Garnacha.
So, Lorenzo, I kind of slightly stalked you on Facebook. I'll just admit that freely. And I saw that you had a post that you had met Steven Spurrier.
Yes.
I mean, a
True.
legend in our industry, and
Yes.
of course, of the
Legend for
feature of a
everybody.
movie called Bottle Shock. So I'm
Yes,
curious,
true.
can you tell us about that experience and how you met him and when you met him?
Steven Spurrier is such an humble person. When I met him, I knew already about the Judgment of Paris before the movie came out. I knew already the story, the entire story. So for me, he was a legend, and it happened that I met him in London, and I went to him and I said, I have some wines here, do you want to try them? And he was extremely uh, as an not at all a difficult person, or so he was really interested and say, yes, I want to try your wines from Maremma, uh, let's go to taste them. And so he came to my booth and he started to try the wines. And since then, we were always in touch. He was working in the counter, and so I sent some samples. He did some reviews for my wines, and he was
Nice.
always so gentle in the reply when I was writing him my emails. And it happened that he got one of my Amphora, and I was so delighted. I have a comments from him about the Amphora, and he said, the Amphora is gonna be in my room of special wines. So he has a room where he put all the wines that really um, are amazing for himself. So some Romane Conti, probably of some specific vintage, and he also has our Amphoras there. But you know that recently he died,
Yeah.
so this was sad for everybody.
Yeah, for
But
sure.
I'm happy that he has in his house. He has one of our Amphoras.
That's really cool. Did
Yeah.
he ever
Yeah.
try one and then keep one,
Uh,
or?
I don't remember exactly his comment. I don't know if he opened it, the wine, or he just put it in this room. I may try to find this comment. We will put the comment actually in our Amphora Maris Instagram. Probably we will do a post
Yeah.
and we will put his comment on Amphora Maris.
Yeah, I'll look for it and share it because that's pretty cool.
Yes, yeah, it's pretty cool that because he is really a legend, and so I need to move in another place because the battery are uh,
Okay.
are low. My Mac is a little bit old.
Okay, no worries. What in terms of, I guess I mean, you don't really have you have such small production and it's very popular. You guys don't have probably a whole lot of problems selling it. But how did you? What was that process like in trying to get the word out? And how did people respond to it when you were first kind of releasing it?
We found out that this is a product that cannot be sold just by looking at it.
Yeah.
It's not. If you put it in a wine shop like that, just showing the product, nobody will buy it. And the reason is not just for the price. Of course, the price is scaring people because it's a high price, but the the fact is that this is a product that you need to tell the story.
Yeah.
The story is so amazing that people immediately, when you speak about the project, the people really fall in love with the product. And the people who love wine, who love history, who loves a unique product, and who loves the sea, cannot be amazed by the project. And most of the people buy it just for the stories. They don't care if the wine is good or not.
Yeah, that's interesting, and I wonder how many people are like Steven and just put it in their special the special wine area. That's
Yes, true.
funny. Yeah, I think
Yes,
I think it's one of those things that if you're really into wine and you're in the wine world, you got to do it once, right?
yes,
You got to
exactly.
you got to try
Mm,
it. I guess it's
mm.
probably not something that you have in the tasting room.
Yes, exactly, exactly. And actually, you can share. I remember at the wine fair, I wanted to bring this amphora, and I was able to serve 20 people out of it.
Oh
A
wow.
little sip, yeah, a little sip, and a lot of people were interested, and they were like in line because they see me serving this, and all the people around, can I have one sip? And 20 people were able to experience this special wine, which is amazing. I mean, you don't have to be rich to try it.
No. No, it's still
Yeah,
very affordable in the world of wine.
yeah. Yes, yes,
Yeah.
exactly.
Very cool. Well, this has been really fun. I'm excited to tell your story, and I really appreciate you guys taking time out of your day to spend it with me. And I'm really glad. I think I must have found you on Instagram. And of course, as soon as I saw your post of your I think it was the one where you're on the sand and you can see the bottle that's been aging on the sand. And immediately I said, I have to talk to these guys because this is
Yes,
the coolest thing I've ever seen and heard of.
yeah,
So, congratulations on this collaborative, project that you guys are working on, and hopefully you can get some more bottles at some point. I think it'd be interesting. I know you're doing Petit Verdot, but bubbles would be interesting just to see, how it works
absolutely.
out. But yeah, this is really cool. Is there anything
This
else?
is a project where you can actually use a lot of imagination and fantasy, because you can work on the shape of the amphoras, because you can change the shape and the wine would change taste. You can change the kind of clay you can use. You can change the sea, you can change the depth, you can change the varieties, you can change the kind of wines, as you said, bubbles, rosé, wine. We are just at the beginning,
Yeah.
and and thanks to Jaume, everything started, and we are so excited of what is expecting us. It's really, it's the future has to be written, I think, for this product.
Yeah, 100%. And I'm wondering if it's catching on at all, or if there's other people that are gonna see what you're doing and touch base and maybe try something in a different part of the world and test it and see
Absolutely.
if the results are different.
Yeah, we are not jealous of our idea, actually, and we are open to give information and everything that is needed for someone who want to try Amphora Maris
So, are you
method.
working on a patent then for that at all?
Jaume, you started the process of the patented, right? Patent.
Yes, here. But it's difficult because they ask you the project and a lot of information about the way you are aging the wine, and just changing some ridiculous thing, uh, you can make the same method. So I think it's not important, and as well, the world in the world there is a lot of people that are be able to taste all the wines you can age under the sea. So we can't serve all the people. So it's not. I think it's not necessary to take that project. Keep that project really close. It's. I think it's not necessary.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Well, I dive. I'm like you. I'm not professional, of course, probably less than 30 times, maybe. But if you ever need volunteers, let me know because that would be so fun. Minus
Yeah,
the
absolutely.
eels, of course, but they're small, so that's cool.
Yeah. There's the dive center in front of our winery because we are close to the sea. That created an activity. So there's a shipwreck, a true shipwreck, not from Romance times, but is a modern shipwreck. And they hide an amphora, one of our amphora, inside the shipwreck. And they have a team of divers that pay for the activity, and whoever find the amphora keeps it.
Oh, that's
So
cool.
that's super cool. Yeah.
That's pretty
Yes.
cool. So I guess
So
they once somebody books that excursion, they go and hide it beforehand.
exactly.
Oh, that's really cool. I
Exactly.
love that the local, your local people are behind it and enjoying it as well. That's very cool.
Yeah, it is. This is super nice.
Yeah, well, let's stay in touch and I look forward to hearing more from you guys in the future. And I really hope you can get work with the university to get some of the more I would call it nerdy studies, but I'm a nerd, so it's but I just think that would be really super helpful. Would help catapult this idea, into more winemakers' hands. Because I think it would be so interesting to see this experiment grow in different parts of the world with different potential varietals. So yeah,
Exactly.
very cool, guys. Super
Thank you.
awesome. You're
Thank you so much.
innovators at your core with this one.
Thank you.
Any
Thank you.
other
Thank you.
projects you guys are looking at doing?
We have
Not at the
many
moment.
projects, but we want to keep them secret.
Okay. Well, when you want to announce them, you can come here and let me know.
We cannot reveal everything.
That's right. Not in one
Not
setting
all
anyway.
at once. Exactly. We don't want to lose the pleasure to expose our secrets and our new project in the future.
Well, if I ever get to Italy, which I was supposed to, and then COVID happened, and then we tried again, and then it didn't happen, and so then it got canceled. So, but yeah, we're definitely gonna get over there at some point. We'll have to come visit.
Yeah,
and check it out.
You are welcome to be here.
Alrighty.
And maybe to dive.
Oh, that'd be fun.
With us.
I might have to do the excursion and get an Amphora. Of course, I'm a little slow, so I don't know if I'd be the fastest one to get it.
You never know.
You never know. You just got to be lucky, right? Right time, right place.
Exactly.
Alrighty, guys. This is awesome. Have a good rest of your evening and a good rest of your week.
Thank you so much.
Alrighty.
Jesse.
Thank you.
Thank you
for hosting us.
Yep, of course.
Ciao.
Ciao. This week's episode was produced by Fedora J Productions.